Hi, what's good everyone, and welcome back to another YouTube video. I hope all of you have had a good week trading. I personally took 3 trades this week. 2 of them were on gold, as you can see. One of them super nice, the other one not so much. I made quite a significant mistake, so I thought that this would be a great opportunity to make a video on the importance of using fresh levels and order block theory as a whole when trading supply and demand. But before that, just gonna show the results here as always. And before I talk about the trades themselves, I'm actually gonna go over a nice little simple presentation I made about this subject to more easily and visually talk about it and try to explain order block theory and just how it works. So I'm gonna start off by getting straight into that. Alright, okay, I moved up my camera a bit just to make it easier to see. But any trade that I posted about where I sort of discuss the strategy of using supply and demand, this is usually the type of structure we have, a moment of indecision followed by a strong push in either direction, this case being bullish. And what this basically shows is that we have an order block sitting here, or I usually refer to these as zones, either demand or supply zones. And what they basically are in terms of an order block is that when you have a powerful reaction such as this, it generally means that there are a lot of orders sitting in this particular zone, so like buy limits in this case or something of that kind, that trigger this initial strong push to the upside. So yeah, a strong move, which means that in this case, since this has previously not been touched, we have a fresh order block. And what generally happens then is if we come down here for a second touch to collect all these orders, triggering all these buy limits and so forth, we usually get a very powerful reaction after that second touch. And this works in the case of it being bearish as well. If we had a supply zone here at the top, a moment of indecision, and then coming in for a second touch as these orders have been collected down here at the bottom. Now, what can also happen is that you sometimes have more than a second touch. So in this case, we came down here for that second touch, and then we did have an initial reaction to the upside, but then we came down again and had a little bit of a push to the upside as well. And what you can picture when this is happening is that all these orders that are sitting here, the buy limits and so forth, they're being consumed basically. They're not going to be here forever. As they get activated, they're not going to be there anymore. So then usually when we come down here, sometimes even for the third touch, but fourth touch and so on so forwards, we don't have any orders left, so we go straight through the block, and we don't get that reaction that we initially look for, which is why these second touches are so important in particular, because they are the ones that provide that very nice movement where you're able to get a really nice risk to reward ratio with a tight stop loss, and then just following the order flow basically. And that's that. So alright, back to the trades themselves. As we can see here, the first one was obviously not the second touch of a fresh zone. I kind of messed up my analysis a little bit. I was looking down at a much lower time frame at this point and identified this as my main zone. But it is very clear that if we go out here on the hourly and draw our zone from here, basically, this is a zone that's been touched multiple times already. So with the zone initially starting here at that indecision, we had that second touch, third, fourth, and it just immediately broke through. Even got stopped out a little bit lower than my actual stop loss. We had quite significant momentum going on here, so I didn't get triggered out immediately. But the second one just waited for another opportunity basically, and out here on the 4 hour there was a very clear opportunity to enter along. We had this nice indecision here followed by a strong push, and immediately when price got down into this zone again, entered my long. I actually managed to get in at the very bottom of the zone. I usually try to get in somewhere towards the middle of it, because sometimes price is not always going to make its way to the very bottom, and it would be unfortunate if it reached the middle and then you missed it. So the midline is usually where I try to enter, but I got really lucky in this case. So even though I took a loss, felt like this was a great opportunity to just make a quick video about the order blocks and in general just the importance of using fresh levels, because otherwise stuff like this will happen and it is not nice. But it is part of it after all, part of learning. And also if there's an interest in or a bigger interest in me in how I identify these levels, I have posted a lot of videos previously on this channel sort of case studies of various trades that I've taken, which sort of showcase my way of identifying these opportunities all the way from start to finish, especially the video I posted in the beginning of this week on gold. There was quite a lot of nice stuff covered there, so make sure you watch that if you haven't already. And it is essentially Friday now already, so basically the end of the trading week. So I wish all of you a nice weekend, nice weekend of backtesting, and then ready for a new week next week. And from there onwards, I wish all of you the best of luck.